Hello, everyone. My name is Reverend Dr. Alan Wright. I'm the pastor of Dunoon Baptist Church, and I run the modules here at Dunoon Baptist College. And this is the introduction to our fourth module, which is called Who is Man? This is the fourth module on the Basics of Faith series. We looked at who is God, we looked at what is the Bible, and the first module we did was on how to take responsibility for your faith. So this one is looking at the identity of man and the purpose God had in his plans for mankind. So we'll look at quite a broad range of things. I'll come to the content of the module in a few moments. Let's start with the format of it and how to study it. There's two ways to study it and two different formats that you can study in. You can study it as a full module for the Bible College. Do the assignments. You would need to do 2 assignments, and for that you would get a certificate, and 6 certificates is the equivalent of a level 1 of a degree. The discipleship program is the alternative way to study, where you come along, you do the classes, you listen into the videos and so on, you read the notes, but you don't do the assignments. You just use it as an opportunity to grow and learn, and that's an alternative too. Either of those is possible, and whichever you choose, there's 2 formats you can study in. We're trying to do a live event at the church, probably on a Wednesday afternoon, if that suits most people. It suits most of the folks who've answered so far. Try and maybe do an event for maybe 12 max. We have to keep social distancing, and we have to wear masks and so on. It'll be a bit awkward, but it'll be a live format. We'll have questions, we'll have a little bit of interaction, and it'll give us a chance to meet together, even at social distancing. And the alternative way to study is to look at the videos online and to have a Zoom chat. And whichever you choose, it would be helpful to let me know, because we've got a maximum of 12. I've already 8 signed up for the live event. So if you're interested in that, you'll need to let me know as soon as possible. Whichever way you're intending to study, please let me know, and we'll keep in touch, and I'll make sure you get the materials and so on that you need. So there's 2 ways to study and 2 formats, and hopefully you know what you would like to do and how you would like to do it. So this is the outline of how to study. Let's look at what's in the module then. And the module subjects are covering really the identity of man. Who is man? And when I say man, I'm not talking about gender. I'm not comparing men and women. It's not gender related. It's down to mankind, humanity. And what did God create human beings for? There must be a reason, an identity in man that is something that is significant. So we're going to look at the identity of man, and we're going to look at the 4 states of man, because it confuses a lot of people's understanding of the universe. They look at man and they say, well, he's not perfect, but he's not, all bad, and is he just another animal? And we look at the world. Actually, it can be really helpful to look at what God said and his plan. So we'll look at those 4 states of man, and then we'll understand value coming out of that. So if man is designed by God and so on, and designed for glory and all these things that we'll look at, then that should shape our understanding of our own value and identity. So hopefully that's interesting to you. I certainly know there's a lot of people who struggle with self-doubt, with identity, with concerns over feelings and experiences, and we need that security of knowing what God says and who he says man is. So in that, I hope it'll be helpful for people. It's also a massive subject that we can study. There's a whole lot about the identity of man. So we'll look at those areas. And the key verse for the program is from Psalm 8, verse 4. Psalm 8 is glorifying God. How great is God? And then it says, and what is man that you're mindful of him? That God even notices him, or that he cared for him, or human beings that you care for them. The question is, why would God do this? What is God doing? And why is man here at all? So hopefully, if you find that you need some answers to that kind of question, Why does God do this, and what's it all about? And maybe this module will be helpful to you. The topics, as I said, I give you the rough ideas of the subjects, but we're going to go through 10 topics. It may take more than 12 weeks. Some of the subjects are quite complicated. The first one, and the idea of identity later on, and individuality, all of those are very complicated sets of information. So there's a lot to the module here. Week one, or the starting topic, is to say that man isn't just an animal. There are some evidences of evolution in small changes in animals, and animals have changed their behaviors and adapted to their environments. But to suggest that man comes from monkeys is very unfounded. And we'll look at some of the evidence that man is more than an animal. And the second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth then are looking at God's plan for man, that God made man perfect, that man became fallen. And then God, through Jesus, makes man new and renews man. And then that renewed man, when Jesus comes back, will be taken to glory, and the renewed man will see glory. And we'll look at those four states of man. And when we do that, we'll think of that plan that God had, that his plan was not just to create man perfect in the beginning, but to bring man through the trials all the way to glory. And so we'll look at that plan for man. Then we'll look at what that means for human beings, that because we've got free will, we're responsible, and because we're made in the image of God, that there's evidence of God in who we are. And then we'll look at identity. Value and identity are very much linked. If we're made in God's image and made to be redeemed and made for glory, all those things then shape our identity. And then finally, we'll look at how that identity fits when there's so many of us that are so different, and that we all have different identity. If this looks crazy and complicated to you, fair enough, but take it one bit at a time, and we'll walk through it together, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Hopefully you'll find it enthusing and encouraging. So that's the plan. Just some more study details then on how to do it. All of the materials will be available from the church website. Let me show you that. So let me open a window, open up dunoonbaptistchurch.org. If you click on that, it'll bring you up to our church website. If you go to Dunoon Bible College, it will bring up the Bible College page. There's my face. Woo! And then we'll go through the modules, and you'll see here, Module 4, Who is Man? And the accompanying videos and notes are available here. So if you click here, it should take you to the page, Who is Man module. And the notes for this introduction, along with the assignments and reading lists, are here. And we will have the videos here. Obviously, I am recording the introduction video, which is why it's not on the screen there yet, but it will be by the time you're looking at it. So let's have a quick look at the notes, because on it, I can also show you the assignment topics and the details of the books. It's in OpenOffice format, ODT, so it should open in Word or Office or anything that makes it easy enough to read. You'll see there's 16 pages here, so that the first few topics are quite heavy in terms of material, but that's okay. You're better have too much material and not read it than need material and not have it. So the Who's Man there, we've got the outline of the module again, and then some of the assignment topics. In what ways is man significantly different from animals? What evidence is there that this environment was built specifically for men? What was unique about Adam and Eve before the fall that we can't go back to? Why is it important that fallen man exists in the temporary world? In fact, there are 15 topics there. If you are going to do it as a study module, you'll need to complete 2 assignments. One of those would be a presentation, and one of those would be a written report. For details on how to write the reports and how to do the presentations, look again on the church website and under the module, under the Bible College section. So if we go back to the Bible College section, along with the introduction, it's how to studies in here as well, down here, how to study. Okay, so there are 2 assignments, and you can choose any 2 of the 15 subjects. You can't do them both on the same one, but any 2 of the 15 subjects. And they reflect different parts of the 10 weeks modules. Okay, then we've got the notes for weeks 1 to 3 all the way through there. You'll see there's a lot of stuff going on there. And then you've got the additional reading for the module. I've got some of these books here. I tried to make sure that I have a copy of them. And so there's a whole lot of different things. Let me show you a few of them, not in any particular order. This one's called Defined. It comes with videos online, and it's actually meant as a Bible study for girls, for teenage girls. So it's not meant to be super complicated. But when it comes to identity and value, there's a lot in that about identity and value and understanding who you are in Jesus. So getting a hold of that is possible. You can grab that from me. I've got a couple of papers and things. This one says, "Who am I today?" Again, it's on identity and crisis. And I've made notes. It's in the list of books there. We've got Chesterton's book on the everlasting man, which is thinking about the series of man. So if you listen to it, it goes about the man in the cave, professors and prehistoric men, the antiquity of civilization, God and comparative religions, man and mythology. So he's talking about quite a lot of history of man's experience and saying, is there evidence that God has made man? And looking at some of the historical stuff. So looking back. When we're looking at identity and understanding, one of the best books I've read is David Gooding and John Lennox, Being Truly Human. David Gooding died last year, a brilliant theologian, and John Lennox is one of the best apologetics speakers in the world. He has debates with some of the big evolutionary scientists or people like Dawkins who have these debates on whether creation and evolution, what the evidence says, and he always kills them, not literally, but so that book's on being truly human and is understanding of what humanity is different from everything else again, and things like morality, human nature, and human destiny are all in there. So you can have a look at that. The Doctrine of Humanity by Charles Sherlock's another one that I have as well, which is, again, looking at, it's a theology book, Contours of Christian Theology. So it's laid out like a systematic theology about, again, it goes through the ideas of being made in the image of God, what a human being is, and then the renewal of the image in Christ, and the image of Christ being a new image rather than a repetition of the old image, and then looking at the human race. So there's a lot in that. I've got Tozer, Man, the Dwelling Place of God. He's focusing mainly on the Holy Spirit, but there's a lot in that book about man being God's designed to be filled with God, and how that looks and what that looks like. So he's again talking particularly about the third state of man being renewed. This one is an old book, a really classic by F.W. Grant, Man and the Future State. If you borrow this one and don't give me it back, you're in serious trouble. But it's really interesting. It's about man made for glory and what that's meant to be. And he actually calls it a scriptural refutation of universalism, restorationism, and annihilationism. So universalism is where everybody gets to go to heaven, and he's refuting that. He's saying the Bible does not say everybody just gets to go to heaven because God made us, that's enough. But also annihilationism, that we don't just end, and what it looks like at the end times. So he's looking at what man is made to be in glory. That's really the fourth state of man he's discussing there is Grant. I have a couple more that are more specific if you're looking at identities and things. Abba's Child is Brennan Manning's book, which is specifically about experiencing God in a fresh way as your Father. But it's a lot about identity and understanding that we're made for relationship. So that book's there. And another one that's maybe not right on topic, The Mark of a Man. Elizabeth Elliot's here talking more gender specific about what a man should be. She was writing it for her nephew and what a man should be like. But it's a really interesting book with a lot of thought that talks about the identity of humanity as well as the identity of man compared with women. So if any of those books are interesting to you, or any other ones, there's a couple of other things on there. This paper by Marvazon, I just came across it. I don't know that I particularly know the guy or have a particular knowledge of his background or experiences, but it's a good starting point for the first part of the module, why humans deserve to be treated better than animals. I'm not saying that animals don't deserve to be treated well, but what I am saying is that man is so much more glorious. That's the paper. Who Am I Today is the paper that we have. And then this is a study Bible that has particular notes on the doctrine of man. So there's, I think most of the rest I've mentioned there. So that's some of the additional reading. If you want to find it or if you want to borrow it, let me know. As I said, some of them I really, really want to get back. The Elizabeth Elliot book signed and everything. So my mommy gave it to me. So that's how to access the material. And that's the assignment topics and the details of the books. If you want to get into those more serious side of the studies, then you'll need to access that and get a hold of it. Otherwise, it's really looking at the videos, having a chat, whether that's a Zoom chat or having a chat in the church, and just discussing the topics together. So if you're interested in this module, can you please email me as soon as possible? The live event is going to start next Wednesday, which will be the 25th of November. So if you want to be part of that, we've already 8 signed up, we've got 12 spaces, and I imagine there's a few folks would be interested. So if you are interested in that, please contact me soon. My email is on the church website. I'll give you it now just so that if you grab a pen so you can write it down if you're going to get in contact. But the plan is to get started next week. The same with the Zoom chats. I'll put the video up early in the week. You have a couple of days to look at it, and then we'll have a Zoom chat later in the week. If you're interested in doing the module either way, please let me know as soon as possible. That's Pastor Alan, A-L-A-N, Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T, at hotmail.co.uk. Pastor Alan Wright at hotmail.co.uk. Hopefully we can get in touch and we can get going on this module. I think it will be encouraging for a lot of people. Thank you for looking at the video.